The diner was nearly empty when Lena, a shy young waitress with tired eyes and a gentle smile, carried the last pot of coffee to a corner table. Her shoes squeaked faintly on the old linoleum floor. The job didn't pay much, but it was honest work, and it kept her close to her dreams of helping others one day. That night, a black limousine stopped outside the diner. Everyone turned to look. Out stepped a sharply dressed man in his 30s, Ethan Cole, the billionaire owner of several luxury hotels in the city. He was the kind of man who made headlines for his wealth, not his warmth. But he wasn't alone. With him was an older woman, graceful but fragile-looking, wearing a soft gray coat. Lena noticed something right away. The woman wasn't responding to the clatter of dishes or the murmurs around her. Her eyes moved carefully, watching people's lips instead. She was deaf. When Lena approached, Ethan ordered brusquely, not even looking up from his phone. 2 coffees. Black. Fast, please. Lena nodded but then turned her attention to his mother, who smiled faintly. Without hesitation, Lena gently placed her hand on her chest, then gestured with her fingers, "Nice to meet you." Ethan froze. His mother's eyes lit up instantly. She signed something quickly in return, her face glowing with surprise and joy. Lena smiled back, responding fluently in American Sign Language. The two began to talk silently, their hands moving gracefully across the air like a private dance. Ethan finally looked up. His phone slipped slightly from his hand. You know sign language?" he asked. Lena nodded softly. "My little brother was deaf. I learned for him." Her voice trembled just enough to reveal the emotion behind her words. His mother was beaming now, tears glistening in her eyes. She hadn't been able to truly converse with anyone outside her family in years, not since her husband died. But here, in a quiet roadside diner, a shy waitress was signing to her as though they'd known each other forever. As Lena refilled their cups, Ethan's mother reached for her son's hand and signed something. Ethan's brows furrowed, and he translated aloud, his voice barely steady. "She says, you've forgotten how to listen with your heart." For the first time, Ethan didn't have an answer. He watched as his mother laughed with Lena, her hands moving with life and joy. The same mother he'd worried about, isolated in her silence, was suddenly radiant again. When it was time to leave, Ethan stood and looked at Lena. "Would you come work for us? My mother could use someone like you." Lena's eyes widened. "Sir, I don't know. I'm just a waitress." His mother quickly signed something to her son, and he smiled softly. "She says, you're not just a waitress. You're someone who listens." Lena accepted the offer with trembling hands. Weeks later, she moved into a quiet job at Ethan's estate, helping his mother, reading to her, taking walks in the garden. Slowly, Ethan began joining them. The three shared dinners, laughter, and eventually, understanding. Ethan started learning sign language himself, guided by his mother and Lena. One evening, during a small charity dinner, Ethan stood before a crowd of wealthy guests. His mother sat in the front row, with Lena beside her. He looked at them and began his speech, not in spoken words, but in sign language. As his hands moved, his voice cracked with emotion. "I used to think success was measured in money. But tonight, I've learned it's measured in how deeply you connect with others." A waitress reminded me of that. The room fell silent. Then applause filled the air, some clapping, others waving their hands in the sign for applause. Ethan's mother was crying. Lena was, too. And for the first time, Ethan smiled, not the polished smile of a billionaire, but the warm, human smile of a son who had found his way back to what truly mattered. From that day on, the diner where they met became famous, not for its coffee, but for the story that spread across social media and news outlets. The waitress who taught a billionaire how to listen. And every year afterward, Ethan funded scholarships for students learning sign language, dedicating them to his mother, and to the shy waitress who turned silence into connection.